Hey folks, this is the Rock and Roll King, Robert R. McFarland, talking to you. We're on episode 10 now. We've came a long way. So this is actually, the date's going to be August 20th, 2016. But I want to talk about the Marty Hayes session. The funny story about Marty Hayes was, back in 2015, I think the spring, we was getting ready to call Marty in to do some lead guitar. So I got a hold of Marty and said, hey Marty, you want to do some lead guitar? He said, cool, just send me some stuff of what you're doing. So I'd send him over some demos that I had done personally myself with vocals, guitar, and bass, and I'd send him a couple tracks we was working on, just guitar and drums basically. I said, we're getting ready to do lead guitar here very shortly. Would you be interested? He said yes, and then I called him up again, to check with some dates, and never heard back from him. So I was kind of, I didn't know what was going on. I thought he would at least got back to me, but he never did. So fast forward till 2016, about 2 months ago, I got a hold of Marty, and we're talking about in June, and said, hey Marty, we're now getting ready to do the lead guitars. I did a few, Derek's going to do a few, would like you to do a few. So I got a hold of him, and he had responded, yeah, I'd like to do that for you, help you out. So we played phone tag a couple times. I finally got a hold of him and talked to him. I said, Marty, just out of curiosity, man, I never heard from you back from the last time I got a hold of you. I just thought you was kind of blowing me off. And he said, oh, no. He goes, the demos and stuff you sent me didn't sound like they was finished. I said, well, Marty, that was just it. They was just demos. I wanted to give you an idea of what we was doing to see if you dig what we was doing to come in and play. I didn't want you to think that, I was doing everything myself and the sound quality was not going to be there. I just want to give you a taste of the songs we was doing. So, just a little misunderstanding, but I thought he was blowing me off because he never got back with me. He just evidently thought we wasn't ready. So I said, hey, we got about 11 more solos to do. You can do 4, 5, 6, 7, all 11 if you want to. So I gave him some copies of what we was going to do. He came in the session, and he had a real cool guitar. It was a Fender virtual guitar, I think VGA or VG1, something like that. And it had a Les Paul, Fender, Tele, all these different contraptions on it. And he basically sat down on a couch, and I was like, within 3 feet of him. And we just basically let him go. Now, if me and Joe came up with something he liked, we're like, hey, do that, or do this more melodic, whatever. But, he had free reign to do whatever he wanted to. And the session was just awesome. And I want to thank Marty Hayes for saying yes to the project. And then hopefully here, we're looking maybe towards October now. Everything's gotten pushed back a little bit with people's schedules, which we'll talk about here in a second. But Marty did an amazing job. He's a phenomenal player. And I sometimes tell people I feel like Santana's Supernatural CD. I had this concept of this album, and between me, Jack, and Joe, we just brought in some phenomenal players. Now, not everyone we've asked to bring in has been on the CD, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But I always tell people, it feels like when Santana said the right people came in to do the right songs, I feel like that too. We had just phenomenal players here, and I think everybody who's on the songs they're on were meant to play those songs. I often joke with people, I'm probably the least talented person on the CD. I wrote the songs, I played rhythm guitar, I did a couple solos, I did some cool things. But as far as talent goes, these guys are world-class players. I'm really humbled and fortunate to have everybody who's involved with this project. These guys are all world-class players, could play with anybody out there. So I'm just the new kid on the street, and it's just been an awesome experience for me to hook up with these people. But what I want to talk to you now real shortly is, some people were called to be on this project because I thought they was really good, they had talent. And again, there's a few people who just never called me back. I guess it's kind of sad when you call somebody and they say yes, and then you tell them, hey, call me back with what your schedule is, and they don't call you back. So I take that as just being blown off. Again, everybody's busy. I'm busy. Again, with Marty, it seemed like it was a very understandable reason why he didn't call me back, some miscommunication, but I cannot believe that's with every person. And again, There's a few people that we wanted to bring in, but just people being hard to work with, we just decided not to bring them in. So at the end of the day, this project has brought the right people in at the right time, and scheduling with people's schedules has been tough. So that's what's delayed the project a little bit so far. So again, right now we're in August. Right now I'm waiting for people's schedule. I have a session with Kevin coming up to do some more organ. We've had to wait 3 or 4 weeks to get him scheduled in. Derek's going to come in to do a session here before too long. Again, we had to work with Derek's schedule. I want to have Brad come back in to do some backing vocals. Again, we got to work with his schedule. There's a girl named Danny that Joe knows that she's going to do some harmonies for some background vocals. Again, we're waiting for her schedule. There's a guy named Steve that's going to do some slide guitar. We're waiting for his schedule. So this last month and a half has just been waiting for people's schedules. I have all the time in the world I can do, but I can't, sing like they can sing. I can't play slide guitar, so I've had to wait on people's schedules. And that's been some of the extra time. So right now, me and Joe are slowly putting over songs to be mixed and mastered, but right now we're looking at probably an October release to get everything finalized. So again, that's episode 10. We had Marty Hayes come in. He did a phenomenal job. Again, thank you, Marty. So we're just getting one step closer to getting this thing released. So this is the Rock and Roll King, Robert R. McFarland, talking to you. Music's the soundtrack of life. Have some every day. And keep rocking in the free world while it's still free. And folks, it's all for one, and one for all, and all for rock and roll. And the rock and roll CD is coming at you shortly.